Jason from Group 9, and our group have Aaron and Deswin. In this topic, we will present about the economic issue Malaysia impact by climate change. For the overview of climate change, it is a pressing global issue marked by long-term shift in temperature and weather pattern. This is primarily caused by human activities such as burning fossil fuel, deforestation, and industrial processes. This activity results in higher level of greenhouse gas in the atmosphere, leading to global warming and more frequent extreme weather events. The main impact of climate change include rising sea level and increase the frequency and severity of national diversity, loss of biodiversity, and threat to food and water security. Next is climate change in Malaysia. Malaysia is particularly vulnerable to the effect of climate change due to its extensive coastline, reliance and agriculture, and rich biodiversity. The major effects of climate include a general rise in temperature and fluctuation in precipitation. Next is climate change in Malaysia. Malaysia is particularly vulnerable to the effect of climate change due to its extensive coastline, reliance and agriculture, and rich biodiversity. The major effects of climate change include a general rise in temperature and fluctuation and precipitation, wet season threatened flash flood from heavy storming, such and rising sea level affect people who live nearby the sea need to move. Extreme weather even increased frequency and severity of flood. Of the rising temperature and heavy rainfall mean there a risk of river overflowing and rising sea level caused by melting ice cap threaten Malaysia coastal area. Those coastal areas are some of Malaysia's most lucrative tourist destinations or key port of trade, such as Penang, Langkawi, and Port Klang. The dry seasons are projected to be even hotter, running the risk of longer drought. Climate change also poses a danger to the health of citizens, as rising temperature could lead to heat stroke, affected both indoor and outdoor workers, such as increase the number of heat waves occurring annually. Economic costs also damage to infrastructure, increase healthcare costs, and reduce productivity. This can affect several areas of Malaysia's economy. First, the extremity with rainfall could lead to weaker harvest and instability in Malaysia's agriculture industry. Economy loss and cost the government money in order to provide relief and repair. We have also a fictive business worker our office have been cashed in the damage. Next, for economy risk of climate in Malaysia, in 2023, the damage to public access and infrastructure caused by flooding in Malaysia cost more than 380 million Malaysian ringgit. Between in 1998 and 2018, the Malaysian economy sustained a total damage of approximately RM 8 billion. Climate change impact our society by disrupting the natural economy and social system we depend on. This disruption will affect flow supply, industry supply chain, and financial market, damage infrastructure and city, and harm human health and global development. So in the graph, we can see more than 3 million people is affected, such as injured and died. During climate and decline, 32% in earning of fishermen in the East Coast, 5.7% decline growth in agriculture in sector in quarter 4 2019. Next is mitigation strategy, reducing greenhouse gas emission to show the pace of climate change. Mitigation strategy for Malaysia, such as transport sector, can invest in reliable and efficient public transportation system like EV bus, electric vehicle, provide incentive for the adoption of EVs and develop necessary infrastructure. And next is renewable energy. Investment in solar and wind power leverage Malaysia geographical advantage to expand solar and wind energy capacity. And also hydropower expansion continue to deliver sustainable hydropower projects. Next, I will pass to Aaron.
Thank you, Hansen. Now I'll be explaining on the adaptation strategies that Malaysia could use to overcome climate change. So we have come up with three different strategies. Firstly is to invest in climate resilient infrastructure. So one of the benefits of actually investing in climate resilient infrastructure is that it helps reduces economic losses, it protects lives and livelihoods, it maintains essential services, it creates jobs, and also it helps promote climate resilient future. So for example, right, we have example when it comes to flood defense, maybe the government could actually build seawalls or other floodgate or even a floodgates to actually help protect coastal areas and river banks from flooding, right? For green infrastructure, by utilizing natural elements like mangrove, wetlands, and rain gardens to manage stormwater runoff and reduce flooding. Another thing we could implement is also early warning systems, advanced weather monitoring and communication systems to provide timely warnings of flood, landslides, and other extreme weather events. So, for example, the World Bank has actually predicted that if Malaysia were to invest in climate change, it could actually cost them up to 6.7 billion annually by the 2050 due to infrastructure damage and also productivity, right? So, by investing in climate resilient infrastructure, it can yield a benefit to a cost ratio to 7 to 1, meaning that every dollar invested in climate change, it saves $7 in the future, in the future for disaster cost. That is according to the Global Commission of Adaptation. So, secondly, we are focusing on developing climate smart agriculture practices. So, by implementing climate smart agriculture practices, it enhances productivity, it improves resilience to climate change, and it also reduces greenhouse gas emissions. So, one of the benefits of actually actually having climate smart agriculture practices is that it increased productivity, it reduces water uses and improved water management. It enhances soil health and fertility. It reduces reliance on synthetic pesticides and fertilizers. And it also lowers greenhouse gas emissions from agriculture. So, the Malaysian Agriculture Research Institute, also known as MARDI, is developing a drought tolerance rice varieties and promoting climate smart practices, while NGOs are collaborating with local communities to implement rainwater harvesting and conservation agriculture techniques. So, by developing and implementing climate smart agriculture practices, Malaysia can actually ensure a more sustainable, resilient, and food secure agriculture sector in the face of climate change, right? So, thirdly, we will be focusing on community preparedness and evacuation planning. So, to enhance Malaysia's preparedness and response capabilities through a multi-pronged approach. So, firstly, we can come up with Malaysia could develop a hazard early warning systems. So, by investing in this advanced weather monitoring technology, maybe like Doppler radar or high resolution satellite imagery for accurate weather forecasting, and develop and maintain an effective multi-hazard early warning systems that provides timely and localized warning of impending disasters such as floods, landslides, and storm. Secondly, we can see is that uh, emergency stockpiles and resource management, right? So establish strategically located stockpiles containing essential supplies like food, water, medicine, sanitation kits readily accessible during disaster. So develop a system for efficient logistics and distribution of emergency supplies to affected areas after a disaster strike, right? So, thirdly is the community preparedness and evacuation planning. So, we should conduct a regular public awareness campaign to reduce communities on different types of disaster mitigation strategies and evacuation procedures, right? So, for example, the Malaysian Meteorological Department and Natural Disaster Management Agency has enhanced weather forecasting. It promotes public awareness through community drills and also implement evacuation planning. So as you can see through the table on the side, 25% it will help with sustainable future. 15% it helps creating job if we to invest in climate change. 15% it will help maintain services. 25% will help protect life if you were to do climate change, and 20% will reduce, and 20% shows that it will reduce the economic losses, right? So this is our adaptation strategies. Now, for our green growth opportunity, so addressing climate change is not just about costs, but it also presents opportunities. So the transition to a green economy, it can create jobs and economic opportunities, and Malaysia can actually position itself as a leader in the region for green technologies and climate solutions. Thank you. Now I'll pass my presentation to Dashwin.
Thank you, Aaron. So the next part of our presentation is assumption and limitations of a mitigation strategy. So team members may work together to figure out what risk the project might have and whether the possible outcome of those risks are okay. To take responsibility for the weaknesses that risk may cause, this strategy is often used to find and understand the risk. Its goal is to bring this risk to the attention of the business. For the following slide, I'll be presenting is assumptions and limitations of adoption strategy. So as you can see, this is the data which I inputted inside the slide. So as research which I gathered, Malaysia previously was set to achieve a high technology nation status by 2030 in the National Policy of Science, Technology and Innovations from 2021 to 2030. However, looking at the current situation of Malaysia in a comparison to the other ASEAN countries, achieving the status only by 2030 might be deemed too late for us to bounce back in competing with the other ASEAN members. And for the next slide, which I'll be presenting is assumptions and limitations of adoption strategy. So you can see market demand for environmentally friendly products and presumes an increasing market need for eco-friendly products and services, assumes that buyers are inclined to pay an additional cost for environmentally friendly products, reliance on technology. And according to the survey which I inputted inside, and the survey was conducted by Rakuten Insight, approximately 49% of the respondents in Malaysia stated that it was somewhat important to buy products that are sustainably made or environmentally friendly. The same survey also revealed that making these products more affordable is the main reason that would encourage them to adopt more sustainable consumption practices. Last but not least, the cost of inaction. So as you can see that for the first slide, the first data which I inputted, this is a strategy for reducing or preventing the impact of a potential problem, rising disaster recovery expenses, escalating costs associated with providing assistance, and restoring affected areas as a result of increasingly frequent and intense extreme weather occurrence. And for the following part, potential for sustainable economic expansion, economic possibilities were missed due to a lack of innovation and employment development in green industries, resulting in reduced in competitiveness in the worldwide market for sustainable products and technologies. Last but not least, strategy for adoption. Infrastructure damage, heightened destruction of infrastructure and structures resulting from unaddressed climatic impacts, resulting in escalated expenses for upkeep and repairs. And I would like to say thank you very much to Mr. Raghul for guiding us throughout the whole presentation. And special thanks to my group members as well for guiding us and guiding me, especially towards the assignment. And yes, that's it from us. Thank you very much.